You never know, man. We might have a Santa rally. So what we got next?
All right. Well, okay. Well, moving on from pandas to Bitcoin, the real value of exchange there. Recently in the news, there's some interesting news around Bitcoin. So there was this guy that lost about 600K worth of Bitcoin, and actually not lost it, but lost his password. Right. So he's been trying to figure out, hey, I need to hack this a certain way. And so he hired a team to try and figure it out.
He used password as a password.
With an exclamation point at the end, because you got it requires right?
No. It's probably maybe an @ right, or maybe hashtag
or hashtag.
And he was drinking a couple beers and he just completely forgot his password, right? So
no. Well, so it could happen to anybody, but this guy actually had some resources to try and go and try to figure it out. So he actually got kind of close. It turns out that they found this vulnerability in older wallets. I think it's from any wallets that were created before 2014. Some of the companies that were around that were creating wallets from back then, they were using a RNG, or a random number generator function, to create these wallets. And it turns out there is an actual vulnerability in that made it possible for those things to be hacked and broken. So they actually had access to several $1 million worth of Bitcoin, but they didn't take it. Right? They actually tried to contact these people to try and figure out, hey, we need to patch these wallets or get them upgraded, because a lot of these are older wallets, right? They're from before 2014. So that Bitcoin back then is probably worth a lot of money right now. So they actually contacted Blockchain.info. If y'all are familiar with it, they're now Blockchain.com. Back then, .info. I used them back then. Fortunately, I already moved off funds from there, so it didn't impact me. But they were able to patch all of the users that had these old wallets before they made this vulnerability public. So now it's public though. So if you happen to have a wallet that's prior to 2014, you should make sure that you don't have this vulnerability, or just move.
And very likely from that company, though. That company was literally, when we were doing this in 2013, 14, that was the company, that and Coinbase, right? So those were kind of the companies that were there, or you could create it yourself, but it was with a random generator type of a thing. That's an interesting one. Okay.
Yeah, so interesting news over from the Washington Post on this. And the guy's name was Nick Sullivan. He's actually an entrepreneur, tech person. So he, unfortunately, he found this vulnerability, but it didn't help him out. His was not one of the wallets that was affected. So, hey, I think he's still working at it, but it kind of goes to show you, it took a while for someone to find this, but in general, it seems to be very, very hack-proof. So I think good news there just in general. In other news in Bitcoin, of course, I think we saw Bitcoin drop a little bit, and now it went back up to 38K. Some of this is because there's been leaks that the SEC is actually starting to negotiate with some of the ETF applicants. So, of course, there's like 10, 12 different ETF applicants, and they each have their own set of deadlines. The SEC has to basically approve or disapprove their application by a certain date. January 10th is one of the big dates, because that's like the final deadline for one of the approvals that will take place. And what we have found and what's been leaked is that the SEC is actually starting to get ready for that. So they're basically setting up the rules for how the money's going to be given to the ETFs by people. They're not allowing, I think, in-kind in-kind payment. So basically, they can't give you a piece of art to pay for the Bitcoin, things like that. It has to be cash money. So, this is expected for them to set up these rules, but it just shows that there is progress being made, and it really is getting closer. Now, because of this, they're saying that there's a 90% probability that it'll get done before the end of the year. But of course,
Hmm.
like that final deadline is actually early January.
You never know, man. We might have a Santa rally
Santa
before.
rally.
Yes, and that's a thing. That's how they call it, right? So in a stock market and Wall Street. So maybe we'll see it in crypto.
Yeah, let's see what happens. But right now, I think there's volatility is good. Volatility to the upside is good. So we'll see how it goes. And again, the halving is coming up in April, so we always see some goodness out of that. So keep your eyes on it. Keep your eyes peeled. So what do you think, Mondo? Any closing thoughts here?
No, let's just make sure that if you have an old wallet, try to move it to a more secure or the new update from blockchain.com.
Yeah, that's true. So, hey, if you like our content, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment. We love seeing a lot of the comments that we've been seeing recently. Love the engagement. So keep on doing that. We really appreciate it. Just y'all be sure to keep doing it. Sin miedo. We'll see y'all
Sin
next time.
miedo. Bye.